Hello, hello, hello. How are you all today? Welcome to the Conversation with Stevie. This is the place where we uncover the why behind what people do. And I am Dr. Stevie Aisha Mills. I help you to make sure that you're using your knowledge and expertise to make money online. So definitely we are excited about that because my why is I want people to live the life that they absolutely love. Today, we have an amazing conversation, and I love people named Charlene. My favorite aunt, one of my favorite aunts, don't tell the rest of them, but one of my favorite aunts is named Charlene. And so today we have Charlene Gethons, and I'm excited to welcome you to the conversation. Hello, Charlene. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on today.
You're so welcome. One of the things that I believe is that the best introduction that one can do is of themselves. So definitely please do introduce yourself to all of us.
So I'm Charlene, and I run, it's called the Mindfulness Journey. It's a mindfulness meditation company, but it also infuses a lot of mental health strategies and practices throughout. And what I do is I help people learn how to get out of their own way by paying attention to their thoughts, right? I was someone who couldn't talk to anyone ever, like not even like a waiter in a restaurant. And now I'm running my own business, leading workshops and stuff because I learned how to get out of my own head and out of my own way. And it's changed, like learning mindfulness changed my life, and that's sort of my why of why I run my own business.
That's super powerful. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I also am someone who survived a fairly horrific motor vehicle accident a number of years ago and has a traumatic brain injury as a result. So that also infuses a lot of my work, right? Like helping people learn how to move through challenging situations and moments, because we will all experience something. Maybe not, we won't all, I was hit by a bus. We won't all be hit by a bus. We will all face something. So having these skills and strategies in place are so helpful. I mean, we're all going through a global collective thing right now.
Wow. I just had to let that pause happen with what you just said. I want people to realize what you just said, and you said that you were hit by a bus. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, so we're super excited that you're here to even be talking to us today.
Yeah, it was 2013, so a while ago, but, like, the effects linger, right?
That's super amazing that you've taken really your pain and turned into your profit in so many different ways, and also your purpose, because that is, as soon as you said that, I felt in my body what you were saying, and I'm like, I can't even imagine. And I love the fact that you have turned that inside of something that you do as a business and really help people to get out of their own way. And so the question I have for you now is, why do you think people most stay in their own way? What do you think they're fearful of, or do you think it's just by habit, or what do you think?
There's usually some emotion, and a lot of the times it is fear, right? It's something we've never done before. It's new. It's scary, right? Like, it can be the smallest thing that keeps us stuck. And I'll share an example. I had gone to a conference years ago, and it was a 3-day thing. And the last day I was having breakfast with a woman who I didn't know. And we were both attending this conference, and we decided to just sit down together for breakfast. And I ordered an almond milk latte because I can't do dairy, and I prefer lattes. And she turned to me afterwards and said that I was so confident in my ordering. And as I shared at the start, I couldn't talk to waiters before learning how to get out of my own way. And she said she can't do dairy either, so she usually just orders a black coffee because she doesn't want to, ask or inconvenience the waiter, right? That's what I mean about getting in our own way. She would rather drink a black coffee or take the dairy if it came with it then ask. And I know that person. I was that person. And it's just that, like, putting yourself out there, being vulnerable, like, there's fear connected to it. And you wouldn't think that you'd be scared to ask for almond milk, but it's not the almond milk that's scaring you. It's the, like, could I put my needs first?
That's so important because we do, specifically as women, we are taught, to not really ruffle the feathers. And so that can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And to the lady you were speaking about, to her, ruffling the feathers was, like you said, putting your own self first and getting what not only she wanted but what she needed. And so, yeah, that is important because a lot of times we think about it as in business and entrepreneurship, but this goes on to other areas of our life. So as we begin to really look at that and look at the detrimental effects that making one decision to really not put ourselves first affects our mindfulness holistically and not just in one way. So how have you seen it most bleed in other areas of people's lives?
I mean, it shows up in relationships. It shows up in our work, like as an entrepreneur, but even people who aren't working as an entrepreneur, right? Where we, sure, I'll stay late. Yeah, that's fine. You can email me, call me, whatever, at 10 o'clock at night. That's fine. Yeah, I'll get to it. Yeah, I'll do this. And women usually take on this role, but it's not specific to a gender, right? We all get into this place where, like, we'll put everybody else's masks on before we put our own, right? Like, the flight attendant's speech before takeoff. In an emergency, put your mask on before assisting others. We don't. We put on everybody else's mask, and then we think about ours. And, like, in a business, it can show up with not outsourcing before you should, right? Like, bringing on help. There's so many. I'm a solo entrepreneur, but there's so many of us that will just keep going like, no, I can do it. I don't need to ask for help. I can just do it all myself. And then we run into burnout, or things don't get done, or we beat ourselves up because we're not as far ahead as we wanted to be. And in relationships, it can show up as doing all the emotional labor so that you don't have to inconvenience, and we're not actually inconveniencing, but we feel that way, somebody else. Well, I'll just do it. It's just easier if I do it.
All this undue pressure and stress that we put upon ourselves, and I know from firsthand experience that stress is detrimental to our bodies and our minds and everything. And so as we think about this, and as we think about the purpose of you and how you start your business, what was the biggest hurdle you had to really overcome in order to even do this work and transition from where you were to where you are now?
A lot of it was believing I could, but also working within my limits, right? Not pushing myself to be like, my friend who doesn't have a brain injury, right? And who's running her own business. Like, I can't do as much in a day as somebody else can. And I'm speaking to someone with a brain injury, but someone who's a parent and has small kids, right? Like, they couldn't run their business the way somebody who doesn't have kids can, right? We all have, and I call it limits, but, like, I don't mean that in a disparaging way. Like, we all have our parameters that we can work within, and it's learning how to work within them, to not want to compare ourselves to somebody else. And that's a mindset shift that I had to work on, and a lot of it's accepting, and mindfulness is all about acceptance, but it's accepting who I am now, that I'm not the person that I was before the accident, that I can't do things the same way, and that's okay. I don't need to be somebody else, but I can be myself, and I can run my business in a way that suits me and my needs.
I really, really am excited about this conversation. I wanted to ask you, can you break down what mindfulness is in case someone has never heard that term?
Sure. So one of the definitions that Jon Kabat-Zinn, who created the mindfulness-based stress reduction program, and that's what my training is in, is that mindfulness is about paying attention on purpose to the present moment with an attitude of kindness, curiosity, and non-judgment. It's accepting the reality of this moment, right? We can't, if we don't know what's going on, we can't really work with it, right? And I don't mean that we're all stuck in denial, but we're often stuck in thoughts of the past or the future. And mindfulness helps us to be in this moment, because this moment is the only one I can do anything about.
Wow. Yes. I put up something recently that talked about the power of now, and that is so key, because now, like you said, that's the only moment we have, but I think we are so stuck in the past and can't move forward to the future that now we overlook. Or maybe that's just a Stevie thing. But I think, honestly, that the work you're doing is incredible, because we have to look at now. And there's somebody who is a visionary. I know I struggle with looking at now. How can visionaries be more accepting of right now in this moment that we have today?
So, and I can definitely be a visionary. Like, I know what I want to accomplish over my lifetime, but it's what can I do now, today, to get me there? Right? Like right now, I'm thinking about this, our conversation. I'm not thinking about, and then I'm going to promote it, and how am I going to promote it? And you're like, ooh, what kind of graphics am I going to use? Right? Like, that's tomorrow's job, so to speak, or maybe later this afternoon, but it's not now. Now is this. Now is this piece that I'm working on. I take a big goal and I break it down into bite-sized pieces, and then I just do the one piece. And when that's done, then I do the next piece. Right? That's how you can harness the power of now. What can I do in this moment? Not all the moments, this one. And that helps with running a business, right? Because there's so many pieces. And if we think about all the pieces, we get overwhelmed. But if I think about this piece, like something I just finished was I redid my landing page for my 7-day free challenge, which is how to incorporate mindfulness. It's a bunch of different practices, 10 minutes or less, because the big thing I hear is, I don't have time. 10 minutes a day, 7 days, right? I went back and I just did the page. And that was the only thing I focused on until it was done. I didn't focus on all the moving parts, just the one.
Wow, that's so key and so important. As we begin to wrap up the conversation we have, I definitely want to ask you the question that I ask everyone else who comes to the conversation, and it literally is, Dr. Stevie, we can't leave this conversation today without everyone knowing and then fill in the blank.
Without everybody knowing that you do have the power to change your life. I mean, you don't need to be hit by a bus to have your life changed. We can do it by learning how to work with our thoughts, to be with our bodies, to be in this moment. Because as I said earlier, it's the only one we can control. When we know what we're thinking and how our thoughts affect us day to day, because they do, and we learn how to work with them, we can change our lives for the better. We can reduce stress, overwhelm. We can find more ease. We can, as I said earlier, we can get out of our own way. We can recognize what what am I doing that's holding me back from launching my business, selling a program, agreeing to come on an interview, right? Like, what are the things that are stopping me from doing what I want to do? And whether it's the business or life, where am I holding myself back, and how can I stop?
Absolutely powerful. And I also want to make sure that we all have your contact information so that people can connect with you. What is it?
So my business is The Mindfulness Journey. That's my website. My Instagram handle is @TheMindfulnessJourney. I teach practices, strategies. I show people how to work with their thoughts, to find ways to reduce stress and overwhelm, to learn how to notice when their doubts are kicking in and how to be with them and to work with them so you can still take action towards your goals. I also have, as I mentioned, I have my free 7-day challenge. You can get to it through my Instagram or through my website, but it's 7 days to a more mindful you. As I said, 10 minutes a day, 7 days a week, and that's for free to teach you what it means to pay attention to our thoughts and how to reduce doubt and overwhelm in the moment.
Well, thank you so much for coming by to have a conversation with me, Charlene. You are definitely appreciated, and we have enjoyed having this conversation with you today.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really enjoyed talking with you.
You're so welcome. Yay. Everybody definitely connect with Charlene. She is giving you her information. We need to make sure that you are going to that information because I understand wholeheartedly the power of right now. It is the power that allows us to breathe and move forward and not stay stuck and stagnant or stressed out. So I am Dr. Stevie Mills, and I love hosting these conversations for you. If you ever need to connect with me, just know how to spell my first name correctly. It is Stevii, so that you can go to workwithstevie.com, again, workwithstevie.com, and I have a free video for you that increases your visibility, credibility, and cash all online. I always end everything I do the same way, and I tell you to make it a great day. Don't have a great day. Make it a great day. Why? Because you, and yes, all of you all listening to the conversation with Stevie too have the power to do so. Bye for now.